Have you ever wondered about the bones of a story? What did the outline look like before the characters hijacked it? Ophelia Kee always wondered the same things about her own stories. As a discovery writer, the chaotic pantser style, not even the author knew how the tales in the Draoithe Saga would go until they went. Backward analyzing one story while busy writing the next tale or two somehow never happened. Apparently, OK put things off long enough, and some fancy computer magic will provide us with those long-wished-for story overviews. We can finally X-ray the tales from the dream and see their skeletons. Shall we investigate the next story in the dream?
All right, today we are diving deep into the seriously steamy and wickedly fun urban fantasy world of Ophelia Kee's Nightmare Dark. We're talking about a world where magic is ancient and the shadows hold some very deadly secrets. And that one line really just sets the tone, doesn't it? This isn't your typical fantasy world with castles and dragons. Nope, we're in a world hidden just under the surface of our own, where magic is old and shadows are definitely more than just a lack of light. And there it is, our formal invitation into what's called the Draoithe Saga. And you gotta understand, this is more than just a story. It's meant to be an experience, a whole dream world where all the myths, legends, and fairy tales you've ever heard of are walking right among us. Now, the author's choice of the word saga here is super intentional. She's basically telling us to buckle up for an epic tale. This is a long, dramatic history that's all about the founding of an immortal kingdom. So yeah, we're not just reading one story, we're literally watching history unfold. So every saga needs a hero, or in this case, someone who is way more complicated than that. So let's meet our guide through this whole thing, Vicioso Lann, a man whose street name is, fittingly, Nightmare Blade. So, to say Vic's life has been rough is a huge understatement. He's a product of a broken home, abuse, a total street tough who has basically been dancing with death his entire life. And all of that hasn't just made him hard, it's shaped his entire worldview. He's literally haunted by visions of death herself, and that fuels this dangerous suicidal edge he's got. But here's the thing. Vic isn't just flirting with death metaphorically. Now, his life's obsession, his one true goal, is to claim the actual angel of death, a folk saint known as Santa Muerte, who he calls Bella Sombra Suene. For him, death isn't something to be scared of, it's a prize to be won. So you've got this guy who is obsessed with dying, but he's found a reason to live, working for a man named Leland Shade. But that little bit of stability he's found, well, it's all about to get shattered. And this is where things kick off, with this classic noir setup. Vic's one job is to protect his boss's girl, Evelyn, but she vanishes on his watch. All he finds is her broken phone, a spilled shopping bag, and blood on the bricks in an alley. He failed, and that failure is going to test his loyalty to the only person who's ever really cared about him. And from there, Vic's world just spirals out of control, like incredibly fast. His search for Evelyn isn't some simple detective job. It starts with a mysterious box from a voodoo priestess, then it escalates to a showdown with a powerful French Griffin Knight, and it all leads to this insane fight with a magical assassin. He gets dragged from the criminal underworld he knows right into a magical one he never really understood. Okay, and this is where Vic's personal problems just blow up into something cosmic. An ancient prophecy comes to light, and it turns out Vic isn't just some guide chasing death. He is the Dream Inverter, a key piece in a cosmic game. The prophecy says he's gonna claim death in the Leondiel, which is basically her own realm. All of a sudden, his personal obsession is tied to the fate of kings and the fabric of magic itself. So, what happens when you find out you're a major player in some ancient cosmic game? Well, the game comes looking for you. Vic's search for Evelyn ends up leading all that danger right back to his own front door, and it sets the stage for a fight that will change him forever. Vic walks into his apartment and it's just destroyed, completely ransacked. And hiding in the closet is the very assassin he was warned about, the guy sent to kill him. And in a weird way, this is the moment Vic has been waiting for his whole life. But here's the twist, and it's a big one. Vic doesn't try to survive. He knows this guy is his killer, the one who is destined to give him the one thing he's always wanted. So he attacks, not to defend his life, but to end it, so he can finally be with his beloved Bella. So as he's lying there, bleeding out on the floor, his last words aren't of fear or regret. They're words of triumph. He thinks he's won, He's finally going to claim the Angel of Death. But someone isn't ready to let him go. His boss, Leland Shade, he just refuses to accept it. You can feel the grief and the pure fury in his voice. He made a promise to Vic, and he will not let death have him. And then, in this absolutely shocking act of dark magic, Leland, who it turns out is a vampire, forces his own immortal blood into Vic's dying body. He doesn't save Vic. He undeads him, yanking him back from the edge and turning him into something totally new. So what happens after you die and get dragged back against your will? Vic wakes up to a brand new life and a brand new, way more complicated purpose. And this right here is the central irony of the whole story. Before, all Vic wanted was to die, to be with death. But now, he learns that his beloved Bella is actually trapped in a magical prison called the Stillness. So his new mission, the one forced on him, is to live so that he can set her free. The one thing he always wanted, his own death, is now the very thing that would keep him from ever reaching her. Vic's entire identity gets a complete reboot. He's not just a loyal driver anymore. He's a Kingsman, a newly turned vampire, now bound to serve Leland Shade, who we now know is the last vampire king from that big prophecy. And the stakes? They could not be higher. His personal quest to save Santa Muerte is now tangled up with fulfilling that ancient chaos magic spell. And to do that, he has to help bring back a powerful devil king named Lucifer Lirio, all in the name of restoring balance to their magical world. I mean, it is a massive, world-changing job for a guy who, just a few days earlier, only wanted to die. But you shouldn't think this is your standard hero's journey. As Leland himself says, "I'm not the hero, I'm the villain." This quote just underscores the deep moral grayness of their quest. These guys are not knights in shining armor. They are dark figures using dark magic to get what they want, no matter how noble they think their reasons are. And all of this forces us to ask the central question of Nightmare Dark. In a world filled with vampires and ancient magic, what happens when a hero's quest isn't to defeat death, but to actually set her free? Thanks for joining this explainer.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed this view of a story skeleton, glimpsing the characters, setting, and plot structure along with the twists within the writing in this tale from the Draoithe Saga by Ophelia Kee. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more original stories and audio adventures. A special thank you to OK Music Writers for writing and for sharing the Enter the Dream soundtrack. It's more than a story, it's an experience. Welcome to the dream.